Chances are you have your own personal social media account on one or more of the many platforms out there. Social media platforms are projected to reach nearly 4.5 billion people worldwide by 2025. So it's safe to say, social media platforms are powerful for broadcasting your brand to a large audience. While the big players in social media like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, TikTok, and Snapchat are all similar with their user reach, it's important to keep in mind that not all platforms have the same audiences, which means that not all social media marketing strategies will work for all platforms. It's not a one-size-fits-all. So then, how do you devise a strategy to successfully engage your target audience on the platform they use? That's what we'll cover in this section of our inbound video series. First, make sure you dedicate your social media efforts on specific platforms your audience is already engaged with. The main social media platforms are LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If your company primarily targets B2B clientele, then there's one platform you can't ignore in your marketing strategy, and that's LinkedIn. 92% of all B2B marketers say they use LinkedIn in their marketing mix, which is no surprise since its primary users are more than 30 million companies and 500 million professionals worldwide. So LinkedIn is great for any company wanting to make professional connections, networking, and B2B customers. But what are the best platforms for B2C companies? Facebook and Instagram, recently rebranded under the parent platform Meta, are top dogs in this space with 77% of all internet users on at least one Meta app every month. Remember, even though they're owned by the same company, Facebook and Instagram cater to different audiences. Ignoring such an important demographic like age might mean the difference between a successful marketing campaign and one that fails. For example, statistics show that Facebook's audience age brackets are older than those you would find on Instagram. Pew Research found that Facebook and YouTube were the most used platforms among the older population, 65 years and older. On the contrary, the younger population uses more platforms at once, including Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, the behemoth of social media platforms for today's largest generation, Gen Z. Over 60% of all TikTok users fall into this category. So there you go. As long as you do your research on who you want to target, you'll have a much easier time finding the platform that's right for you. Which brings us to our next step. Tailor the format of your content to whichever social media platform you're posting to. Let's talk about video content. It's commonly said in marketing that content is king, and in recent studies, video content has shown to reign supreme. Still, as with any content, it is important to know your audience and the platform in which they're using to consume your videos and tailor it accordingly. Suppose you have the same video or graphic you want to share across all social channels. In that case, you'll have to keep in mind the parameters around sizing and video length for each post so that none of your content gets cropped out or cut unintentionally. Here's a quick look into what parameters there are for videos across the top social media platforms. Generally, there are two types of video formats to consider: long form and short form, commonly referred to as reels or snippets. Facebook and YouTube are great for long-form videos, snippets, and quick reels. Use Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn for short-form videos. Additionally, you can take advantage of stories on Instagram and Snapchat. Not sure which format or platform to use for your videos? Here's a hint. This story format is prevalent, with over 500 million people viewing Instagram stories every single day. Taking up less production time, story format graphics still need the proper formatting and dimensions tailored to their intended social platform. And I can't stress this enough. Make sure you're putting your mobile audience first. After all, most people are consuming social media on their phones. At the very least, you'll want to create a version of your graphic at 1080 by 1080 pixels for Instagram and Facebook posts, a 1024 by 512 version for Twitter in order to not get cropped out by the feed, and a 1080 by 1920 version for Instagram and Facebook stories. We've talked about tailoring graphics, But when it comes to social media marketing, remember you must also tailor your messaging. This means that all content is not equal on every platform. But you can optimize and tailor the same content for different platforms. Let me explain. Maybe you want to use graphics and videos for a campaign for both Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But understanding your audience, like their age, buying behaviors, income levels, and so on, and the platform's individual algorithm for each one, you'll also need to change the text that goes with the graphics and videos. For example, using more hashtags for Twitter posts or knowing that readers on Facebook might engage with longer content posts than a more visually focused platform like Instagram. For LinkedIn, you'll still want to keep things professional and post things like infographics and blog articles that require a greater attention span to tailor to people that enjoy reading. Similarly, Pinterest is great for sharing infographics and how-tos that educate your target audience. A tip for YouTube content is that while it's a video platform, it might help for you to transcribe your script in the description, which is great for SEO. You can also add CTAs and links for more information in the text as well drive any of your campaign conversions. For Instagram, you can test long-form or short-form content with your audience, but keep in mind that links don't work in Instagram content posts. So always include them in your graphic text and add a resourceful URL to your bio full of the links you want your audience to focus on the most. There's a lot to remember, so bookmark this link to help you with character counts going forward when creating your posts. Let's take a deep breath now, shall we? That was a lot covered in just a few minutes, and we've only begun to scratch the surface. Okay, the final step here is to keep your presence on social media consistent. You'll want to maintain a consistent look to all your posts, graphics, and videos that fits your brand and makes your company easy to recognize with your current and potential customers. Second, post regularly. If you don't, you run the risk of making your brand look like it's been abandoned, as if you had a business with a closed sign out front 24/7. Finally, the voice behind all your posts across all social channels needs to stay consistent to truly convey the personality of your brand. Think Wendy's. Determine at the very start where you want to be on the spectrum from serious to silly. Inconsistency with this could lead to followers to drop off or even worse, lose trust in your brand. Just try to imagine a circus clown delivering a very serious speech, or your doctor cracking jokes like a stand-up comedian. You wouldn't trust either because the speaker doesn't quite match what's being spoken. Posts don't have to happen each and every single day. As long as it's routine and fits your brand, you'll be staying consistent. And that's it. Choose the social media platform according to where your target audience lives. Tailor your content and stay consistent. These 3 pillars will fill the gaps in your social media strategy so you can focus on improving other pieces to the inbound marketing puzzle. Stay tuned to the next video to learn more about that.